Hey, welcome back. On my last video I fixed up an old Delta 1948 bandsaw and got it running again, got it cleaned up, did some maintenance on it. And I asked you guys in the comments of that video to let me know if you'd want me to fix up this old Atlas workshop bandsaw. This is a saw that was my brother-in-law's grandfather's and he used it in his shop years ago. It's been sitting ever since, but mechanically everything was there. It's a complete saw, there's nothing missing, all the parts are there. These saws were built to last. This has a cast iron frame, a cast iron arm, a nice cast iron table. It's a nice and solid little saw. For a 10-inch saw with a quality blade on it, I'm amazed at what it can do. So stick around in this video. I'll show you what it takes to get something like this back in shape. It doesn't take that much time and money to get it fixed up, and you'll have something that will last a lifetime that you'll be able to pass on to your kids.
This is very not sturdy here. I'm gonna have to. Little miniature.
Here's the decal. You can see it's in pretty good shape. I wonder if I can clean it up a little bit better around the edges of it. I don't know if that's kind of, it looks like residue from the adhesive that kept it on there that's on the outside. I'm not sure. I'll see what I can do to get this cleaned up. Again, it has a lot of the original paint still intact. There's some spots where rust has broken through. But that's okay, it's not in too bad a shape. I'll try to clean it up as best I can, get some of these drip marks off that came from water or something at some point. But there you go, there's the before on the cover. Here's the bottom cover. About the same condition. There's a couple spots where it's rusty. Some spots where the paint's been completely chipped off and it's just kind of shiny steel underneath. I sprayed some penetrating oil and freed up this guide post here. You can see that the tire is completely dry rotted. I ordered some new urethane tires for this also. So right now I want to see if I can loosen up the tension and get this blade off. I already sprayed this with some penetrating oil, some PB Blaster. And it is moving now. There we go. So now it's moving. Good job cutting over there. So that did it. Now it's nice and loose. It was just kind of, it wasn't galded on there or anything. It's just, it's been sitting there for years. Here's the blade guide right here, and there's two set screws that control the blocks that come in and hold the side of the blade. And instead of a bearing, there's just this, it's just a machined steel wheel that just slides onto this post. Alright, we're going to take this bolt out up here from the top wheel, 7/16. You can use either end. Look at the other end works too. See? That would actually fit on there. Now if you pull down, you're tightening. You need to go up. So it's hard to go push up, so put it on the other side. Turn it around like this. And pull it down. You got it. It loosened, I think.
I did.
Grab that. Let's take this off. Bring in here. There's actually no bearings in here. It's just a brass bushing. And they don't show very much sign of wear at all. I don't see any shavings or anything of the brass. It's pretty amazing. No bearings, huh? It's smooth. So I guess we'll take that opportunity to clean this off. We're going to work on taking this table off next, okay? There's a knob back here. It controls the rotation. Okay, so that knob comes off. Let's put that over here in our parts. And now this should slide off.
It's held on by something else. This.
Oh, right there. See this? Yep. You're getting it. Don't let it drop. If it gets real loose, just do it by hand, okay? Keep a little pressure in so that it can come out.
It came out.
Okay. All right, let's not lose it. But this should slide out.
It's not. And look at this.
There we go. So this is the bottom thrust bearing. And there's some damage done to that. I can see some cuts already out of it right there. Some grooves have been worn in there over the years. Go ahead, try it again. Tap again.
No,
just like you were.
Pulled out.
Go ahead, you tap again. You're tapping the center. And I'll pull on the wheel.
Coming?
Not really.
Well, let's flip it around.
Well, the only reason I'm taking it off, I would let it on there because it turns super smooth and there's no bearings to change anyway. But I'd like to clean all that dust out behind it.
Papa, let's flip it around, and there might be a bolt attaching it.
No, there's no bolts. Good thought, though.
Let's flip it around anyway and inspect the back.
Inspect the back?
Yeah, there might be something back there that's holding it together. I saw a hole.
This is connected to it right here.
I know.
So,
oh, I see a screw down
well, yeah,
there.
that's true. That takes the pulley off. So
If
it's
that
a set screw, I think.
if we take this off, this might come off.
Right. True.
So let's take that off and see if I'm right.
Well, you're a good helper. I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have you to give me some good advice. I'll hold it still for you. Yep, you just unscrew that. Okay, let me see how far you unscrew it. You don't have to unscrew it all the way. That's good. That's called an Allen set screw. Okay? So that may, look, this is coming off now. Pull that off. Hit it straight. Yep, hit it straight. Go ahead. Great. Look at that. You took it right off. And
That is gonna come off.
this should pop off. So I'm going to put this piece of wood behind it. And then I'm going to try to tap this out. There we go. That's separating the pulleys and the wheels, these fiber washers. There's one for each wheel, and there's one in the back here. Now I should be able to take this out, and then we can clean behind the wheel. So I don't really have to remove this wheel from the shaft. Here's what it looks like behind there. Again, there's one of those fiber washers. You can see the cast iron base and a lot of built up sawdust and things, so I'll clean all this up. So once I get this all cleaned up, I'll bring it back. You can see the tires and how dry rotted they are. So there's no chance of saving something like that. Okay, so after I used the WD-40 and a Scotch-Brite pad to get a lot of the surface stuff off, I just tested out some Simple Green, and man, what a difference that makes. You can see the before and after here. What I'm going to do is make a solution of this Simple Green, a half cup to a half cup of water. What it does is it gets all that dirt that's been stuck on that paint. It seems to really pull that off. So I'm going to go through everything. That really did a nice job. Well, I got my tires in the water. They just arrived in the mail. I just got them heated up in the microwave to about 120 degrees is what you're supposed to heat them up to. So now I'm going to try to stretch them on these wheels. We're ready to get those back installed. Most of the cleanup is done on the bandsaw, so I'm excited to get the bandsaw now mounted on a work table over there and fire it up for the first time. Get it running. So we got to get the motor cleaned up too, so we'll bring you along with looking at the motor and the stand that it was on. But let's attempt these tires here and see how we do. Alright. Warming it up definitely is the key. That definitely makes it stretch out a little more. That wasn't too bad. Let's take a closer look at these guides here. The bottom guides, blade guides, are very chewed up. And they appear to be brass or bronze. They look like the same material that the bushings are made of. Now, I'm not sure what that is. I'm thinking it might be bronze. So they got a very sharp edge on them, and that's got to go. So I'm going to clean that up so that we have a nice clean surface on both sides. I'm just going to clean it up with a file. Okay, I got these all cleaned up. I'm going to put them back in there. Pretty cool that I was able to save the original ones here. I'm just going to kind of, not going to tighten them too much, because I'm going to adjust them once I get the blade on there. I mounted the bandsaw back on the old stand. As you can see, it's a Singer sewing machine stand, and it had the switch mounted in the back. So I'm going to obviously want to move that to the front. I didn't take the motor out yet, and he mounted it on this piece of wood here, so I'm going to take that motor out, clean it up a little bit, and I'll show you that. So here's the motor, and here's the tag. It's a General Electric, and it looks like 1/4 horsepower. Let me try to open this up, see what it looks like in the inside, clean it up a bit.
As soon as I started walking,
It's okay. Yeah, it had tons of dust in it.
Can I see, Papa?
Look.
Oh, tons. Like 100 pieces of dust.
It needs a cleaning.
I think it's 100 pieces of dust in there, you know, Papa. I think 100.
Maybe more than 100.
I think it's final that's 100. I really do. I think it's final. Like, I don't think that would be more than 100. No way.
Interesting, the brush arrangement here. These seem to be the brushes right here. And they stick out and run along here, make contact there. That's different than almost every other motor that I've taken apart from any of these machines. This is a very old motor. This looks much older than the machine itself from the 50s. This looks more, I would say, from the 30s or 40s, from my experience, what it looks like anyway. Okay, it's all tightened up. We're gonna give it. I got it plugged back in. We're gonna give it a test and see how it sounds. It sounds pretty good. I see a little bit of wobble here on the pulley, so I'll have to watch that when you hook it back up. We'll see how it tracks the belt. If that's going to make a difference, if it's too much vibration, we might have to do something with that pulley. I don't know too much about the design of these, but this goes in and out. As it starts to spin, it pulls it in, and it stays there. So let's fire it up again, and you'll see that. Then when you turn it off, it goes back out. So I'm not sure if that's part of the design or not. So my thoughts on this are, it works. It sounds like it's going to be strong enough. We'll hook it up and see how it does with the bandsaw. If it gives me problems, I may have to replace it. But for now, it seems like it's going to work. One thing I want to avoid is dust coming off the table and falling down in here in this cutout for the belt. and then getting sucked into the motor. That seems to be what built up all of the dust before. So I came up with an idea here, and I cut a groove that's on an angle in this piece of pine, and that's going to be mounted right there. And I cut a piece of paneling that will drop down behind the pulley, and it's going to fit in this slot at an angle. Up here then, I'm going to screw this into this side of the opening. So now that creates a chute for the dust to go down past the shaft and that way. And so this should keep the dust clear of entering that back side of the motor and getting sucked in there. Okay, time to give it a test run and see what it sounds like. It's running nice and smooth. At one time somebody ran the blade into the bottom cover right here. You can see it's chewed up. Well, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I'm so surprised with how smooth this saw is. Man, they sure don't make them like they used to. You hear people say that, but this is living proof of that. If you can go out and find a saw like this, you know, get it for a decent price, fix it up, put a few dollars into it, it'll last a lifetime and you'll be able to pass it on to your family members or your kids. So in total, what I spent on this saw, the new blade was about $20, and this blade was actually a very quality blade. I was surprised. I got this from Ace Hardware, and they had the right size, 17.5 inches. This is a thicker blade. It's heavier steel, doesn't have a lot of flex in it, and man, it cuts nice and straight. It doesn't have a lot of twist. It tracks very straight, and this was about $20. So the blade was $20. The tires, I think I spent about $30 for the tires. That's it. That's all it needed. It had everything else. So for $50, I have a saw that runs, I would say, as almost as good as new. It might not look like it's new, but man, it runs nice and smooth. So for now, I'm going to keep it on the stand that it's on, and I'll be able to move it around the shop a little bit. I'll probably have it set up for small stuff and scrolling like you see here, and then I'm going to get that 14-inch bandsaw, the Delta, I'm going to get that set up for resawing, and I'm going to get a better blade for that, maybe a Timberwolf blade that people recommended, a 3 TPI blade for that. I think I'll do that for the Delta. So again, thanks for watching. If you haven't done so, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you're notified of any future videos I put out. And until next time, get down in your shop or get out in your shop and go build something.